Okay, I think we're recording. So, this is one of my first live videos, so we'll see how this goes. And I'm recording on my terrible webcam thing on my computer because I can't find a charger for my camera for a while now. It's probably got lost in one of my moves, which is really disappointing, but not the point. What I wanted to talk about is probably an overdone topic, but I get frustrated with it, and I feel like it bothers me on a deep level. Alright, and this topic is, of course, controversial. It's religion. Mostly in the way that Christians relate to other people. I don't really mind what the Christians believe, and generally, a lot of them are very peaceful. I've had a lot of really great Christian friends who will sit down and talk with me and, go through all my questions, and are very patient and very, very good with whatever the issues were. But, there are some who feel like, for whatever reason, questions are a detriment for whatever reason. For example, I've really actively tried to learn about Christianity along with a lot of other religions because I'm really curious, and for a long time I was really unsure about where my beliefs fit. I'm a lot more secure now, but I'm still really curious, and I really enjoy learning about other belief systems. I think it's beneficial. So I spend a lot of time, not only with my own beliefs, but with others' beliefs, including Christianity. And so when people want to talk about Christianity, I'm really open to it. I really enjoy it, but I have questions. And there are certain questions that I actively try to get answers about whenever I'm stopped by a Christian, because I'm hoping that one day these questions will be answered. But whenever I start asking these questions, it becomes more about the idea that I don't want to learn about the religion because I'm asking questions. In fact, I had one Bible study tutor who asked me if I wanted to learn about the Bible or if I just wanted to ask questions, and I honestly couldn't figure out what the difference was between asking questions and learning, and that bothers me. There seems to be this perception that you can't ask questions. In Christianity, you have to trust everything that the Bible says at face value, which, one, even Christians don't do. If they all just read the Bible the same way and had no questions or differences of opinion, there would be no denominations. There would be just one singular Christian sect, and that would be it. And two, if God created us, He knows us in our entirety. He knows that we are curious creatures. And if He decides to provide us with this book that has, at least an interesting story and some good foundation, but not all the answers, we're bound to ask those questions. And I'm perfectly fair. Christianity is not the only religion in the world. All of them are based on faith. Believe in this and you'll be saved, or favor the gods, or, whatever you believe in that benefits you from your faith. There has to be some faith that works and is the true way. Unless you're a little bit like me and think that a lot of paths lead to the same thing, which makes more sense to me. Because there's over 6 billion people on this earth, and we can't all walk the same road, otherwise it gets a little bit crowded. Might be a traffic jam. But that's my personal opinion. The point being is, I've had a lot of people give up on me because I asked me questions. 2 Bible study tutors have given up on me. 2 different Bible study tutors. People on the streets, the Christians who stop at campus to, talk to us whenever people ask them questions, it's an affront. And granted, I understand that you get a lot of people who come and just are trying to disprove your religion and, troll you, and I understand that maybe my questions sound like similar things that they might ask, but they're legitimate questions. There's just ones that no one's been able to answer, and they sound like troll questions to you because they're not ones that you can answer satisfactorily. Like, one of the questions I ask is about the Adam and Eve story. It seems just illogical to me. If God is all-knowing and fair, why were we punished so severely for simply doing what He made us do? He made us curious, and He gave us this paradise where nothing bad ever happened. It was paradise. They had never known punishment. Adam and Eve had never known punishment, had never known anything bad. They didn't even know about death, or shame, or sin, or, nothing bad had ever happened to them. Nothing. I don't even think they got burned or scratched. They just didn't know what pain was, or, what consequences were. So God tells them, don't eat from this tree. Okay? But He doesn't really give them a firm reason as to why, and then the snake tells them to eat from the tree, and they've never known a reason to not trust anyone, except God said so. It's when you've only known God and His creatures, it's not unusual to have God as an acquaintance. It's not like, oh my God, I should listen to everything He said because He's an all-powerful being. It's more, okay, He said so, but the snake also said so. And in this garden, we're all equal. Why wouldn't you try it? It's like the kid who touches the stove for the first time. It's never been burned. The stove has never burned him before. How would he know that it's going to burn him? Conceptually, there's no way to tell him you're going to be burned because he doesn't know what that is. I mean, you could tell him it's going to be painful, but nothing to base it off of. So then the kid burns himself, and then he knows. But God is so upset that we were naive in this paradise that not only do we now have knowledge of sin and shame, but we're cast out of paradise forever until we're proof that we're worthy and perfect. And He didn't make us perfect. For whatever reason, He is perfect. But He created us, according to the Christian mythology, imperfect. And then expects us to be as perfect as possible. And when we fail to meet that, He has to sacrifice His Son so that we can be granted access to heaven again through that sacrifice, because we are so imperfect that without that blood sacrifice on that door, we can't get in. But He made us. I'm sorry if I fail to understand the fairness in that, or the logic in that, and it also inherently bugs me that it is assumed that people, everyone, is inherently sinful. I don't feel like we are inherently sinful. I don't feel inherently sinful. If I was inherently sinful, I feel like I would have done more bad things as a child than, as I got older and was able to control myself more easily as an adult. I feel like I have good parts and bad parts. I feel like a lot of things do. I feel like the black and white way of looking at things is a very hard one for me to adopt, which is part of the reason I don't accept the Christian theology. But it's one of the questions I've never understood. And two, I understand that God works in mysterious ways and allows suffering for certain things, and all the suffering is a cause, whatever, but my brother has a lot of mental issues. He struggles a lot. I don't really understand what that purpose is. I've been told that it's to help me see things differently, but why should someone else have to give up? Being able to just live well so that I might learn something. How does that work? How is that fair? I will give up those lessons that I'm supposed to learn if he could. Sorry. If he could be, if he had less struggles in his life. I don't think there's any justification that there is a completely good force out there. I don't see what the purpose is in it. And maybe I'm blind, and that, like I said, God is supposed to work in mysterious ways, and so I understand that there might be some thing in there that I'm not understanding, but I honestly feel like someone who kind of lets that happen and claims to be a good person or a good being, I don't see that working. That's not a good being in my eyes. I'm sorry. It's not fair. I know life isn't fair. But if God's on our side, then it should be a little bit more fair. Because there are things that we can handle, I know. But there are things that we can't. And there are a lot of things that he can't handle right now. Or will never be able to handle. Anyway, that got off track a little bit fast. My point in this was that these questions are not meant to be targeting at you. My questions are honest, legitimate questions, things that honestly bug me, and I try to understand more about the Christian faith. If anyone can give me even their opinion on why so many things happen, and feel free, if you see this video, to post a response. I will watch it. But if anyone, even has an opinion that seems somewhat satisfactory outside of read the Bible, it explains everything, I would, appreciate that, because these questions are just, I have more, but those are, a couple of the big ones. I just never have heard anything satisfactory for those, and that's why I keep asking and keep prodding, because I feel like if you can't defend your own belief structure, maybe it's not as sturdy as you think it is. Maybe the truth is a little bit more bendable, a little bit more flexible, and the truth the Bible offers is not supposed to be word for word, and this is what actually happens. Maybe it's a book of metaphors, because God works in mysterious ways. Why wouldn't his book be mysterious? Why wouldn't it be a large metaphor for how to just act and live? What if it's just a story to tell ourselves? What if it's a story that he gave us to tell ourselves? To make us feel better and act a certain way. The idea that there's someone completely good and completely bad, and it kind of helps us make sense of the grayness that is the world. Maybe he gave us that for our own comfort of mind. But if that's the case, the Bible shouldn't rule our lives to the extent that it does. People should focus more on being good people rather than trying to interpret and reinterpret this book that even if it is a direct word of God and it's line from Him, has been translated and retranslated uncountable times since it was written. I think God would appreciate you more trying to be a good person in everyday life. Emulate Jesus, as opposed to become nitpicky over a book. Follow His word in that you love those around you. Follow the message, not the book. Just my opinion, but I'm not Christian. Like I said, if you have any answers or questions yourselves, I'm up for discussion. I love this stuff. Post a comment video, post comments. I'm gonna leave the comments open on this. Flame me, whatever. Won't be the first. I'm going to hell, I know. It's okay. But yeah. So, thank you for watching. And have a great night. Day. Period of time where you're at.